Hello, this is the March 2022 Shellfish Commission in Guilford, Connecticut. First time in 2 years that we've actually seen people in person. So happy we are back. My name is Bob Berger. I'm the chairman of the commission at this time. We follow a set agenda for people that haven't followed along. Item number 1 on the agenda is the public forum. So we have somebody here from the public. Just introduce yourself. Tell us what's going on.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Carl Harvey, and I'm here representing a couple of organizations. You have a new company in a company of sorts in the town of Guilford, and that company is what's called the East River Watershed Research Institute. Where we pulled together a group of universities and high schools and other research of things related to marsh migration, sea level rise, and so forth. Two of the components in the studies that we're doing have to do with shellfish studies and also with water quality monitoring studies. The water quality monitoring studies are being done following the Say the Sounds Unified Water Systems program. And my specific request to you is the way our program is designed. We start the program in mid-May. People go out and every other Saturday morning from about 7:30 until 9:30 or 10 o'clock. We actually have 7 stations in Guilford Harbor, East River, and so forth, where we do this testing. The brochure mentions a few of the parameters that we do the testing in. We've just received a $19,200 grant from Guilford Foundation to purchase the equipment, which goes to Say the Sound. They maintain it, and then they give it to us in the springtime. So what I'm basically looking for is you to help me recruit people to be, participants in this program. We need to develop a team of about 18 people. We basically take that group and divide it up into crews of 3 or 4 people to then go out. Originally, I did this very same program back in the late 90s with my 6th grade students from Baldwin Middle School. And we actually had parents and students going out and doing the testing. We're hoping to get high school students, working with the high school science teachers to be able to recruit some people there to get involved. I've given some of these brochures to Fred so that he could then pass them out to people with boats. I'd like to have 3 boats available to use in the harbor, and it would be on a rotating schedule. So they're basically 12 to 14 different observation sessions during the season from May to October. Basically, a crew would go out perhaps 3 or 4 times on a rotating basis through that time frame. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect, the shellfish part of it, is I used to do work for you people when Sally Richards was the chairperson, and I was doing oyster spat studies, and I did that for 3 years. And that involved, again, the water quality monitoring, testing, and also I had put out bags of shells for the spat to set on. And every 2 weeks, I would go out and collect the bags, bring them back to the lab, and count the spat on the shells to monitor what that. I still have that data. So if you don't have it, I can provide you with that data, so you can have that as a basis, sir. I'm also interested in finding out from you, what other types of studies you would potentially like me to do. I would have to get those studies cleared by Dave Carey at the Connecticut, agricultural lab. down in Guilford, who I've been working with for many, many years. We also have sound school students involved in this. And the question was brought up as to if you're looking for perhaps getting some, some small seeds to be able to plant. Would there be any interest in, having John Roy perhaps to start the cultures going, not for this year, but perhaps for next year. And then you could purchase them from Sound School, and because we have done that type of thing, for quite a few years in the past. So questions?
What's the goal of all this data collection? What do you kind of?
Climate change is affecting sea level rise. Sea level rise is a change in ecology, the whole marsh ecosystem. We're doing our studies primarily in the area between Boston Post Road, Friends and Company, up to Clabber Hill Road. We're doing line transect studies, right where the Audubon, Connecticut's meadow is, the salt meadow. And then that goes out of the marsh. We're doing bird studies. We're doing fish studies. We're putting out fish traps and that type of thing. So we're monitoring all the ecological aspects of the marsh. And we also do drone studies to see, how the channels are changing and so forth. And this is going to be an ongoing project for the next 80 years.
Okay. And who is the sort of the recipient of all the information?
You.
To
And the other town agencies
Okay.
and planning and zoning.
So this is not a federal government project.
No.
Okay.
We will be getting money from the, this is we're in the process of applying for a 501c3 type of thing and a designation. So we can go out and get grants from various federal agencies like the Long Island Sound Futures Fund, and there's some grants that are available through Connecticut Sea Grant. I've worked very closely with them. In fact, I was on their board back in the 1980s for about 10 years when Sally Richards was chairperson of that also. So I started with his studies, and then she says, "Mom." So
That's great. Well, great.
So we're drawing in all of these different components. We're also working with the soils people from the soil scientists, measuring that. We're going to be putting data loggers in to actually measure the sea rise, to measure the change in the chemistry. So it's every aspect of the ecology, and also measuring how much the marsh is migrating into different areas. And with sea level rise, it's called the SLAM model. How many are SLAM? How many are familiar with that?
Yeah, familiar. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, we had back about 2 years ago, working with Dave Kozak from DEP. The DEP had hired a group to develop what's called the sea level rise affecting marshes. And it's a computer generated program which shows what areas of the town are going to be affected by sea level rise at different intervals. Went from 2010 to 2050 and to 2100, and it kind of plots where the water is going to be, and then adds on top of that what happens when you get 100-year storm surge. And actually Guilford Fairground by about 2050 may be underwater.
Mm-hmm.
That would mean my house is underwater then.
You have a seaside house now. You have seaside property.
Right.
Taxes are going up.
Yeah, that's just true. You got more view now. You have to actually go up, right?
What you need to realize is sea level is going to rise. This, the state legislation is said, it's going to be rising 20 inches by 2050. By 2100, it could well be up to 6 feet. Add on to that, the storm surge of 10 to 12 feet. And you know, the frequency of 100-year storms that we're getting or higher, which is starting to get now. So that means your property is going to be, you know, more susceptible to flooding. So, and that's where I'm actually giving a presentation to the Rotary Club here on the 23rd. I've got a slide presentation that kind of focuses on that, the impact it's going to have on the businesses and on the services and emergency services and the ability to get utility trucks out to Sachem's Head and all that type of thing. So,
Well, Carl, thank you for presenting this.
picture. So,
Yeah, we thank you. Appreciate you bringing it down. I will certainly talk amongst ourselves about what we can do, and if people are interested in participating, and I'll certainly.
as I say, you know, I need to really get you know, the team of 18 people together within the next 2 or 3 weeks, because we'll start the training for the water quality monitoring during the month of April, and then we actually begin the water quality monitoring in early May. So,
And the sites are all from a boat. There's no land base.
no, there are no land bases.
Oh, you can't run it, and none of those samples could run parallel, the ones that we're taking.
They probably will. That's something we'd have to coordinate. You know, we could show. What I could do, I could volunteer some data because I got the historical data right from 1970 all the way up. It's all on the computer, so I could transfer that computer data to his group, and we could overlap, see which samples we already got like historical data for 30 years on.
Yeah, I don't know that our sites are the same as his.
They're close. They're close. I've already checked. I took them, just eyeballed them. They're close.
We just decided on the new chart. I can email John a copy of that so that you can see where they are. Like one site is right where Neck River is. Another is by Buoy 2. Another is out beyond Buoy 1. There's one up near the Guilford Yacht Club there. Right in their turnaround basin.
They're close.
There's another one out off in the Chaffinch Island.
So they are similar.
What I produce for them, I got all the old data. They can, in conjunction with new data, and you can match the two together, and you should have a good idea of what's going on out there. What's changed. And also, like to mention, also the Carl I haven't mentioned before is we've seen a change in near Shellfish Island. The beach is going up 100 feet already.
Right.
One spot, because we just comparing aerial photography from 2000 versus now, the whole beach has shifted 100 feet up already. It's come up.
Well, I'm not sure whether you're aware of this or not, but Scott Graves, who is one of the professors that were working on this project, who also does drones, is doing the drone studies that are associated with this. He's doing an intensive aerial study of that. And to show what's happening to the beach and how
you can see,
washing up and going on.
All right.
You
I don't want to get involved with all the information that you're giving.
That's just to show.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Oh, Carl, I'll be in touch with you, Carl.
Thank you for coming. Item number 2 is approval of the minutes of the February meeting. Everybody probably got them in their email. Anybody take a minute to look at them and want to propose that we approve the minutes as submitted?
Yeah, I propose that we accept the February minutes, meeting minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Item number 3, commercial activity and licenses. Peter.
So commercial activity, this is fair amount of activity starting to happen here. Let's see what we've got here. We actually want to read through all of the, I think, receivables here.
for the month, which includes our commercial activity and licenses. Just a side note, we have $50 Shellfish Commission cash for 2 of the hats that we produce that we're offering to the public, another $25 for another hat. Commercial activity, Dolan Brothers for 2021 and 2022 for lots 1, lot 16, and lot 42. We're catching up on our 2021 collections on commercial licenses, $17,372. You'll hear on the payables, 5,000 and change of that goes over to Madison for 2 years. We split the lot 1 license with them in East River. Captain Morgan residential licenses $550, 5 annual non-resident, 2 annual non-resident senior. That's for the month of January, and for the month of February, Captain Morgan's $482 a check, 4 annual non-resident, 1 annual non-resident senior, 6 annual resident. So just in summary on commercial activity, licenses, et cetera, $18,479 for the month.
Very good. Thank you. Next item is bills and correspondence, also with you, Peter.
Bills for the month for our payables. The annual fee for the town marina slip of $1,657.83. Judy Castellano secretarial fees $54.75. Alan Brown warden fees $80. Fred Hill warden fees $120. The expense for the Shellfish hats for the public, 150 of those, $2,577.50. And then from the Dolan Brothers commercial licenses, the town of Madison, we give them half of the lot 1 for 2 years, so that totals $5,280. We have total payables for the month of $9,770.08.
Okay, very good.
Mhm.
Do we need to approve those?
Yes.
Motion to approve the bills as submitted, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good, thank you. Number 5, Warden's report. Alan and Greg. We have 2 wardens tonight. Alan, why don't you go ahead?
Well, things have been slow from the new year, January and February, just about. We've been open quite a bit, but we also have conditions that most people are not going to go out in. So we don't have a lot, as you could obviously see by my report. If there's only 1 or something, I don't bill it out. So I only had a couple of them, and it was fairly light. We had a couple good days. We did have a couple good days, and that's when they came. So that's pretty much where I expect it's going to start picking up now. It's starting to get warm. I'm seeing 50 degrees and so forth, and that'll bring them out, especially when the water is calm. Besides that, I'm thinking that one thing I would like to do is I'd like to sit down with you people and discuss a few things like this. The rules that we have for a clamor. I know some of them are on the back of the license, but some of them are not, and they're not very explanatory. I would like to see that sheet of paper that I have seen in the past that we were supposed to give it out and we sold the license. I would like to go back over that sheet of paper with you and see that when people are selling licenses that they give out that sheet of paper. On the back, it should have a map of where the places are and also the roads to get there. Just putting the map on it doesn't help. A lot of people don't know where some of these places are. And if we had a map down there, it's small enough so that they could see, they could follow the road. Maybe it'll alleviate some of an area like mine. It's very busy and sometimes they can't get a spot. And then I could take the paper and show it to them, and they can go off to another area if they want, or if they want to wait. The other thing I want to do, I want to sit down with our commission here, and I want to discuss things like changes that need to be made and updated. There's a couple of things that I had happen this year that I think we need to at least address them and be aware of them. I'll give you one real quick. I had a couple guys out there going clamming, and they were out clamming, and they were on the other side of the sluice. If you know my area, they were on the other side of the sluice. And one guy, I talked to him before he went out, and he had never been clamming before. So he goes out there, and the tide's coming in. And all of a sudden he realizes it's time to go. He tries to start to come across the sluice, and it's too deep. He panics, and he figures, I got to try to make it. He doesn't stop to think that maybe if he backed up, went to the shore, he'd maybe have a little better chance of staying alive. Thankfully, the other guy saw him, what the condition, he was all the way up to his nose almost, and hollered to him and told him to go back. And then he brought him around. So, and then I talked to him, and he said, oh, I don't know how to swim. And I'm saying, you know, maybe that's something we should put on our license maybe next year, or at least put it on the requirements that we're going to have on the sheet of paper. If you don't know how to swim, it's either mandatory, or it would be a good idea that they have a life jacket with them. Because in this case, it could have ended up very serious. So there's things like that we need to address, and we need to update. There's another situation. I'm not going to go into a lot of them because I know you don't want to sit there all night. But there's another one where we said a fella can buy a license and give it to somebody else to go out and clam with it. And when I approached our situation here, oh yeah, we told somebody they could do that one time, so we're just kind of following that rule. You cannot do that. You have to vote on it. You have to vote on the rules that it says on the commission. So that should be voted on. And there's no other way. Go ahead.
Sorry for the audio issue.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that that's all a rule already, that they're non-transferable. I don't think that that's the case. If the guy had handed it off to a friend, he was in violation, and that's pretty clear.
no, that's not pretty clear, because I was told by you guys, not before you became the chairperson. I was told that they could do that. And the guy comes down here and he sits in a chair, and his friend goes out with two pails and comes back with 2 pails. And I was told that, yes, we did make that a rule. And so I'm saying this has to be voted on. It has to be on a sheet of paper, so that when I'm addressing somebody, I don't want to have them say, well, I'm wrong. I can say, here's this piece of it. So this is what we got to do. We're going to have to sit down, either a special or a regular meeting, and just have a talk about this and find out where we go down the rules and say, these are the rules and these are the things we need to do. The other one is the people buying a license, they have a piece of property that they're renting in town for a business or something. If you're a business person in town and you own property, even though you don't live in the town, you still are eligible for a town license. It is not, we're talking about a resident here. We're not talking about a person that owns a piece of property or something. So is that the rule you want to make it, and you want it to be that way? That's fine. But we got to make all this clear so that the wardens know what to do, and the person that has the license doesn't have any questions about it, whether we're right or wrong. So anyway, I just want to talk it, and you guys have to talk about it. I want to sit down before the summer before spring comes into effect, and get all this stuff straightened out.
Okay.
And then we can decide, we can have the papers out there and we'll be all set. And the other thing with a warden, I do this, and I'm not saying you all have to do it. I cover my beach all the time in the summertime, picking up stuff. I don't ride in on a go-kart or something and wave to people and then drive off. wardens should take this responsibility to take and get off and walk around, talk to the people, see what they got to say, and clean the beach. Because if we don't clean the beach, the residents and the people in town are going to get upset about it. It's not hard to do. You don't need a big basket to go around. Usually it's 2 or 3 pieces, everything from balloons to whatever. All right, I took too much of your time. Anyway, these are the things I want you to consider. I want to get the warden stuff straightened out. I want to get the rules and regulations straightened out so we don't have any gray areas. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan. Bye now. Thank you.
Could I suggest we add new items that we do a review of the rules in the next month's meeting?
Yeah.
In
Absolutely.
my tenure here, I'm not aware of any conversation where we amended the rules or even agreed that a licensee could hand their license to a third party.
Yeah, I'm unaware of that either, but
And-
Alan clearly has run
And
into
there
that
was
situation.
also cases with, if it's a taxpayer in town, whether you're a resident or not, you're a resident, you get a license, and we talked about it. I remember that we figured it
We
was,
already.
it was too trivial
beat
to,
that horse already.
yeah, right. So let's just go through the rules again and make sure, then we'll get them distributed out.
Yeah, I think it'd be good if we get it typed up and have a paper so the warden can have a paper, because myself finding substitute teaching, we've had a sheet of some rules that kids could do and can't do. We always keep a sheet with us because you always get a kid to challenge it. Well, who so-and-so said I could do this, I could do that. But if you have a sheet with something written on it and you can show it to them, here it is in writing. It makes things very clear.
The logistics are important. Absolutely.
I want, when you sell a license, you give them that sheet. Not we have one and now you
Right.
didn't know about it. You know, it's like the state of Connecticut can get away with it. I didn't know about that law. I didn't know you couldn't go through a stop sign. You can't say that. They don't care. Okay,
Right.
That's what we want. We want to say you got a sheet of paper when you bought a license, and there's the rules, and here they are if you want to see them again.
Okay,
Okay.
I think that's a good idea.
It'll work out
We
well.
want to go back and look at I know in my previous tenure on the Shellfish Commission, we spent quite a bit of time going through safety issues.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, some folks wanted it very prescriptive, and I think I remember pretty clearly that we did not want to make it prescriptive. We wanted
Recommendation.
generalities there. And so we may want to go back and look at some of those notes. I thought it was a closed issue.
Okay.
Maybe not.
The bottom line is you could be a good swimmer and.
Right,
If the water's
right.
cold.
You still work, you're gonna get swamped anyhow, yeah.
Other things
Yeah.
that you're going to be catching off.
Yeah.
Right.
And then-
Okay.
Mhm.
Greg, anything from you?
No, we can go over these things later.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is subcommittees. Recreation Subcommittee, Peter. Ed's not here tonight.
Nothing to report.
Next one is water sampling. Water sampling, we are current to this day. I thought about doing water samples today, except for the snow. So we are caught up to at least to the month of March. We got to get the open sample from March done. But the water samples have been fine. There's some other stuff I can talk about water sampling later when we get down to the shellfish management plan, but
Bob, do we send a copy of the results of samples to the health department? They always get a copy? Of the samples, or just go?
I think I'm not sure that they get the actual results. I think they just get the notice that we're open.
Did you open and close? That's all they get. They don't give a copy of the,
I don't think so.
you just copy, only goes down to aquaculture down in Milford. They can
Well,
copy
they're the ones that do the samples, so yeah.
samples, so they have a copy. Okay,
The source
that's a copy. I'm just looking for the information in case they have to, want to coordinate anything, any data.
Yeah, I would contact Alyssa.
Yeah,
We just get the notification.
Okay.
We don't get the data, so.
okay.
Stocking, nothing new on stocking. We are at the same, usual point that we always are. Stocking is not an issue that happens at this time of year, so there's no change there.
Do we know that we'll have access to stock in the spring or early summer?
From Chris Walston. That depends on who you're talking about.
Well,
Oyster stuff that we stock typically in the spring, from Dolan Brothers will be available. They made, last time I spoke to them, they said, sure, there's no change from them. And Chris Walston as far as I know, is status quo. I know he's, there's a high demand and his prices are going up just like everything else these days. But yeah, as far as I know, everything should be available.
Good, thank you.
Next item is finance.
So I have the financial statements through February, so on a year-to-date basis, the fiscal year running from July 2021 through June 2022. So through February 2022, we have total revenues of $26,836. Total expenditures on a year-to-date basis through February, $29,110. So on a run rate, we're, $2,274 short, expenditures exceeding revenue. However, we still have March, April, May, and June. This is the period of time in which we have a big lift with our license sales, et cetera. So overall, I expect our budget target of revenues of $53,350. I believe we're going to exceed that. We'll stay at or below our target expenditures of $52,225. So we'll be, putting, I think, surplus back into the, our rainy day fund, which right now is sitting with a balance of $146,702. So we're fairly flush and continue to keep our head above water.
Great. Yeah. It seems like there's not much time, but it's virtually half the year, and it's the busy half of the year that we sell all our licenses.
Yeah, I was asking about the stocking because we really should be making up for last year. And, we should be in a good position. We carried over monies from last year. So if we want to overspend on stock, we feel the need to do that. We're in a position to.
Right. No, I agree. Any special projects, John?
I guess I'll be more or less, I'll be working with Harvey. I got a good data dump I can give him. I have all stuff on stick drives. I can give him a whole bunch of information he needs. He'll try to coordinate with his people, with the sampling that he's proposing versus our samples and see where they overlap. I'll work that with him.
Okay.
That's it.
Signs are sort of a split responsibility between three of us. Signs are good, as far as we know.
Up to date.
Yeah, signs are fine. There may be at some point in the next several months, we might need to buy new locks. The locks are starting to wear out. I don't know what the lock is over by yours, but
Mine's
Yeah.
good.
is it? Yeah, I mean,
Vaseline.
right. I mean, they just get rusty over time, so that may pop up. And last, anything about the website?
I'm going to do an update, because I did want to speak about the distribution of the hats for the town. I'll be putting the public where they can buy these. Captain Morgan's got 6 of each of the 3 types. I'd like to include all the commissioners you could reach, and whether you want to have some on hand or you just point people toward me, I can, people can buy them from me.
Okay.
John, I was going to ask if we were going to have these in Fishing Factory potentially selling them. The whole objective, and it's in a category that's neither our website or our recreational activities. It's really branding and awareness in the community of shellfishing in Guilford. So we want to create more awareness, a little more fun. That's the intent here. So I purchased 150. We should be able to cover those easily with sales during the course of the year. Just want to get them out. Timing was great. Now people are going to really start buying licenses. Great to, let them know they can wear one of these really cool hats.
Right. We're going to try and get those into pages.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to Andrew. I don't know him very well. Do you know
Yeah.
Andrew Page?
I know.
You want to give him,
Yeah.
you know him well enough to long twist it?
Oh,
Okay. Terrific. Next item is,
Why don't you take those 3 and then just to show them and hold on to them, okay?
okay.
You got it.
I'll mark them and you've got those.
Next item on the agenda is number 7, updates, Land Acquisition Commission. Jeff?
Okay, we had a meeting last February, a special meeting. We're considering 5 different properties, and it's just about as far as I could take it. They're looking at 5 different properties in town, and they're waiting to get some grant money. I guess they got roughly looking for a source of roughly about 10 million or so to use.
Okay.
But they have 5 properties that they're looking at right now.
So stay tuned.
Mhm.
Sea Grant Advisory Board, John?
They have I got an email from Tessa. Did you get the same one with about the, all right, for, the gathering shellfish commissioners.
gathering of the Shellfish Commission. This year, they rescheduled it from back in January to April 2nd this year.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday. Saturday that I leave town to go fishing for a week. So I will not be there. But if anybody would like to go, I think it's a $25
Yeah.
fee. The commission will certainly pay for the fee
Mhm.
if people want to attend.
Okay.
All right. You want to sort of take the lead on that one?
Yeah, I'll go, yeah.
Coordinate it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting meeting. There's lots of information, so.
It's great that they have they get all the commissioners, all different commissions in town. I mean, the state, and we get to discuss some things, common problems and stuff. It's it's worth it. You get a good lunch too out of it. It's pretty good.
Right, it's a good.
Good lunch and all free coffee you drink.
Harbor management,
Very quiet time with harbor management, nothing to report.
nothing. Docks, moorings, or any potentially impacting.
Nothing yet, except for with Carl stuff. That's, same
I'll make a
thing,
note
same thing, yeah.
that Dredging's underway in West River around the basin,
Oh,
in the mouth.
is it federal dredging, or is it yacht club?
Well, it was approved, the yacht club petition was approved by the Army Corps. Ultimately,
Okay.
the final one, they now have the dredger in.
Okay,
They'll be, dredging out the basin, and they, I think, come back in early mid-April to dredge out the mouth of the West River.
okay.
Item 8 is any old business. Number 1 or letter A on this topic is the review of the Shellfish Management Plan. This is something that, again, has been on the
Mhm.
agenda every month for the last at least 5 years. I actually spoke to Alyssa as to what it would finally take. She was never really able to give me an answer as to what they need. And really what they need is that when we get closed after a 1-inch rainfall, they need us to go sampling within 5 days, which is new information. That's very helpful to know that it's that data that, when we're supposedly contaminated or we've got high potential for runoff problems, they need that data so that if the samples come back clean during that time, then they can eventually open us up and raise the threshold. So the last time we did that was in 2020, because I don't think anybody was aware that was the specific criteria that they need. But now that we know that, we can certainly try and do that, because every time we get close, we always wait either the 8 days sample, because they wait at least 8 days till we get reopened, or we just do it whenever it's convenient, whenever somebody's available. But then we can certainly make an extra effort to try and get it in during that time. The next one is RFP process for new commercial lots, dual purpose lots. This is something, again, that's been on for months and months. I don't have any new information on that. I don't think anybody else has, right? Nobody's heard anything new.
Yeah.
Infrastructure funding, I have not heard anything new. Anybody?
Nope.
No?
Yeah.
And then the hats we spoke about. Anything else you need to talk about with that? Other things I was thinking about. Did we ever get anywhere with the message machine?
I sent an email follow-up and I didn't hear back. It's the fire department that oversees communications to the town, and they were gonna check the box and help us get this done. I'll cycle back this week.
Okay. And there was one other thing I was thinking about. This is totally sort of off the agenda, but the commissioners who put in time here, obviously there's lots of time that everybody dedicates. Commissioners end up having to pay for their own licenses. And I don't know if it's a violation of the bylaws that if you serve on the commission, the one sort of perk to being on the commission is that you get a license. I don't know how people feel about that. If somebody comes out and volunteers to help us do a stocking or a cleanup or something, a lot of times we give them a license and they've done their 2 or 3 hours of volunteer time, and then, we volunteer year long and we end up having to pay for our license ourselves. So I don't know how people feel about that. How do you feel about, since you're just coming in, making it that if you serve on the commission for a period of greater than 3 months, you're entitled to get a license for that year? Any discussions? What do you think?
I like it.
I think it sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's a good little perk.
Judy, are you aware of any violations with that?
Not, it's been discussed before. And since you're all volunteer, you do get paid by the town for your gas, your fuel. When you travel, you get paid for other things. So I would check your bylaws to see if there's anything that would infringe on that.
Okay.
It's been brought up before, but they've always decided to pay. So I think it goes by the bylaws mostly.
All right.
It's $25.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
I got the senior one.
15.
I get a, I get a lifetime one coming soon.
right. So,
So don't forget about that.
all right. So I guess we should probably review the bylaws to make sure that we're not sort of having any kind of conflict of interest against our own rules. But something we can think about.
I have a question on the lifetimes. Could we have a list of who has lifetime?
A list?
Like a list of people?
Yeah.
that get challenged on that.
I've heard that's come up a couple of times. Somebody over there.
The person not having on them,
Yeah.
that's just being a pig. Like you gotta have it on you.
Yeah, I told them, but they
Yeah.
don't hear.
Yeah.
How many are there? How many lifetime licenses are there?
I got there were like 7.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
okay.
there's,
So
I
it's
heard
not-
like 8 to 10.
So you.
And
you do
everybody
have a
expects to
list.
be,
Put them in your head.
well, people think that they're just gonna be recognized because
Yeah,
they've been
yeah.
around for 100 years.
Because like,
But
I'm 8 years. I talked to Trace today, and she said because I came on in a midterm, even though I've been on for 8 years, I can still be on longer. So she's gonna get back to me with the details.
oh, so you may not be out in April? You may stay to the following year?
She said that it appears from what she looked at face value, because I came on I don't know if I came on as an alternate or what the deal was.
Yeah, me too. I did.
She's like, you could still be on for the time being. So.
Okay.
But I'm not in a rush to get off. I just don't want to. I don't want to get, with the town DNC and I don't want to create a problem or whatever. I just wanted to
Okay.
make sure I'm doing everything.
Excellent.
Yeah, we'd like to have you stay, certainly.
For the qualifiers to become a lifetime member.
2 full terms.
2 full terms.
You were out of the room where we mentioned the hats. Have you spoken to Dee's and Fishing Factory about carrying these?
No, I didn't know it was an option.
Would you?
Absolutely.
I'll give you, I can actually give you 3, so you have the samples and show them.
Okay.
And then
I'm gonna need 6. Well, no, I'm gonna show it to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you however many they want.
Salesman.
You're the salesman on this one,
My
right?
suitcasers.
For, so
Right, right,
it's
nice.
$25. They get $3 for their being a channel, and then the rest comes back to us.
That's fine.
Anybody else have anything else they want to discuss? Item 10.
We can talk about the boat.
Yeah.
Did we skip over the boat?
Let's skip over the
We
boat.
skipped over the boat. Going back to the boat.
So we have a target to get in by?
It's gonna be probably the second week of April, which is our usual.
I used to have it in before April. I used to have it in late March.
Oh.
But I want to paint the floor.
Okay.
I want to sand it.
Did you get all that stuff? I know we had sort of earmarked money for it last month.
No, not yet, but I will.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 2 days of work.
It's gonna be some work. All right. So, yeah, I have been talking to an electronics guy to try and figure out, what's going on, that the battery's drained down if we don't turn the switch off. And, it seems like, I don't know if it's going to the GPS or where the battery power is leaking out to. But yeah, so we'll have.
That's when we leave the switch on though, right?
Yeah, when the switch stays on,
Oh, was it there?
how old's the
I bought
battery?
them, they're probably
2
3 years, the 3rd season now.
Same year as the,
It's time for new batteries.
same year as the.
I kind of think that too.
3 years.
So. it might be-
Printers doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not,
definitely get it.
Right.
The interstates.
they're not gel. I mean, they're not like,
The interstates are terrible.
Maybe it's a Bill's problem.
you know what though, man? I've had good luck.
There's no bilge.
Really?
Well, no, that's-
Yeah,
So West Marine batteries are Deca. Those are the best.
You know what I do? It's funny. I had West Marine batteries. We could talk about this later. I had them in my boat for like 15 years. That's it. They were new with the boat. And it wasn't even, I thought the battery switch was bad. It wasn't even the batteries.
Okay. Anything else more specific that we need to talk about?
Probably a new battery before it goes in.
Yeah, 2. Okay. Item 10. Chairman, anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All right, we're done. Motion passed. Thank you, everybody.
I've heard that from a couple of people. That, they're like, why'd you get rid of your West Marine batteries and get interested? I don't understand. Like, good marine batteries. Like, yeah.
Charity.
Right, right.